Okay, welcome. This is going to be our little tutorial on how to do scorekeeping for USA Volleyball. And I have here a lineup sheet, and we're going to show you a bunch of things that you can do before the match is even started. And hopefully we can get through this pretty quickly, and I can do this without too many errors, but please forgive me if I make any errors. Okay, so we're going to watch a match. It's going to be San Ramon Valley High School playing against Centennial. And even though it's a high school game, it's the best opportunity that I could find where we could kind of zoom in and you can see all the stuff that's going on and we can kind of keep track. And the score was a little lopsided too, so it helps us out and we can move through this pretty quickly. Okay, so you're going to get the lineup sheet and you're going to write everything before the first whistle and everything after the last whistle of each set. You're going to write it in pen. However, not every time you'll go to the tournament, they might not have a pen for you, so just write in pencil, totally fine. We're going to make some stuff up here so that way you get an example of what you should be doing when you're scorekeeping. So you're going to write all of this in block letters, all capital block letters, and we're going to write name of competition. So let's say this is NCVA League 1. And we're going to pretend that the match is being played at the in San Jose. So we'll write San Jose, California, and it's at the convention center, so you can abbreviate this if you want, SJCC. And the pool phase is, your coach could help you out with this, but let's pretend this is pool B and this is match 1 and this is women junior and this is 17/18. Okay, and then underneath that, you're going to write in nice big block letters, you're going to write who is playing whom. Now, this might say Diablo Valley 17-1 black against another team. Let's say it's NorCal 17-1 blue. Okay, but so for the purpose of this, we're going to write it out as if it's who's playing against each other. So San Ramon Valley High School, and they're playing against Centennial High School. Okay, so this information over here off to the side, the date. So we're going to pretend that today the game is being played today, so 12/16/24, and this is on court 1, and let's say that it's the 1:00 p.m. match. Now you're going to write this in military time. There's a little conversion here that helps you out so that you know how to use or how to write in military time. So 1:00 p.m. is 1300, so we're going to write that nice and big in military time, 1300. That's the time when the match was scheduled to start. Okay. That's all the top part. The other things that you can fill out are over here on the side. Now, typically, you're going to write down the referee, or the referee will do it on their own. But let's say that your coach is the down ref. So we're going to fill this in. And it's written last name first, and then first name. Now, the scorer, this person has to sign it after the match is over. Don't do it beforehand. Some refs are a little particular about that. So if you are scoring the first, you don't need to fill this out because the person who ends the match, that person will fill out their score and they'll sign their name. But you can fill out the work team, so that's Diablo 15-2. And the region is, we're in Northern California, and you abbreviate that, so that's NC. Okay, so this is everything that we can fill out pretty much beforehand. If the ref fills out or tells you who, their last name and first name, totally fine. Now, when you go to some of these big tournaments, all this stuff will be filled out beforehand or for you. But if we go to the smaller tournaments where they don't have it, you'll be the one who has to fill this in. This information helps when you turn in the lineup, the score sheet. It helps the tournament director understand exactly what was played and exactly what happened in the match. Okay, so that's completed. Then you will wait for the coin flip to happen, and that'll tell you who's serving and receiving. And then also the coaches will give you their lineup sheets. And this is a lineup sheet. It looks like this. Okay, so you'll notice here that there are Roman numerals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And those Roman numerals correspond to the score sheet. Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so you're going to write down the jersey number of the player in each Roman numeral. So this is court position. We write the numbers down in court position. So 14, 7, 5, 12, 4, and 10. Okay, 4 is I'm sorry. We're gonna also write down the libero. So the libero is one person. There's one libero, and there's an X through the second one. That means the team is only using one libero. So we would, in this little spot right here, we would put down a 1, and then we would put an X in the second position, meaning they are not using 2 liberos; they're just using 1. Now, if a team were to turn in and say they gave you a lineup sheet, and it had that they were using 2 liberos, let's say it was SRV, and they would go 1, and also let's say number 19, and then they would write down the numbers of the players in each position. And then the coach would sign it. Okay, if you had 2 players listed as liberos, those 2 players must remain in the libero spot for the whole match. You can't, once when they're listed as a libero, they can't leave. If the team uses 1 libero, then this 1 libero, that can change per set. So that's why it's left blank. Okay, so that's SRV. And we're going to write this here. So you're going to write down the team name, and you can abbreviate to get it smaller. If they have a team name or whatever, you can use an abbreviation here because you've already written out the full name of the team. So this can be SRV, and this is Centennial, so we can write CHS. Okay, so 4 is designated as the captain. The team is not giving you a printed roster where the captain is already designated. They're just giving you a lineup sheet. So you're going to put an X in the box, and you're going to put 4 in the circle. That just means that they didn't turn in a roster because you don't do it at these tournaments, and 4 is the first captain in this spot. Okay, so that takes care of SRV. Here's Centennial. Centennial, again, this is all in court position. 9, 1, 11, 8, 14, and 4. So we're going to write this here. 9, 1, 11, 8, 14, and 4. The libero is 13. That goes in this spot. And they're only using 1, so we put an X through the second libero spot. They're not turning in a printed roster, so we put an X in the box. And then we put 14 as the captain in the circle. Okay, we already know SRV is going to be serving first, and Centennial is receiving first. So if you notice there's this little S and an R right here, you're going to put an X through the S saying that they are serving, and an X through the R signifying that Centennial is receiving. You don't fill in the bubble like a Scantron. You just put an X through the R and the S. Okay, now Centennial is receiving, but since they start the lineup sheet is turned in court position. The first server for Centennial when they side out will be number 1. But we have to write down 9 in the first box in court position. So the way we mark that is 1 is going to be the first server, so we're going to put an X through number 9 because they're not going to serve first. In high school, it's a little bit different. We have to put them in service order, so you don't have to worry about this. But USA Volleyball is different, where you're going to put them in position or court position, and so you have to put an X through the receiving team in the first box. It'll make a little bit more sense in a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that you can do. Well, that's everything that you've done. That's everything you have done before the match starts or before the set starts. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to write the time, what time the match starts or the set starts here. And again, it's going to be in military time. So let's say the match was supposed to start at 1300 and they blow the first whistle and it happened a little bit late and it's at 1310. Okay, after that, that's the only thing. Now you can switch to pencil. So if you make an error in pencil, you can just erase it. In high school, you have to write everything in pen, and if you make an error, you have to X it out. All right, we'll shrink this down, and we'll watch some volleyball here.
Orange, California for the CIF State Champ. The Wolves claiming set number 1. So if you're Ryan Fujinaga right now, you're telling your team, you're right in this ball game. You limit the service errors. You're going to be right back where you need to be. And for Centennial, it came down to make.
Okay, so they blew the whistle. The ref blew the whistle to start. And 14 is the first server. So we're going to verify that the person is serving correctly in the right spot. So we put a little tick mark through the 1. That just means that we have double checked and made sure that the correct server is serving.
The least amount of stakes. Simple as that. You stick to the fundamentals. You know, it always comes a concern. Will nerves play a factor?
Okay, so Centennials sided out. And you need to come up with a system so that you do the same exact thing every single time. That way, when things happen, there's a substitution, you don't get lost and forget to do something. This box down here, these boxes, you're going to write the team's score when that person is done serving. So 14 went back to serve. She was correct in the right spot. Centennial sided out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write a 0 because that was SRV's score when she was done serving. Then we're going to tick off a point because they earned the point on the side out, and then we're going to verify that number 1 is the next server going back to serve in the right spot. Okay, so we'll shrink this down and we'll watch this. So 1 is supposed to be the next server, and we see 1 going back to serve. So 1's in the right spot, it's the correct server, so we can just tick off this little mark right there. That just means we have verified that it's the correct server.
Who has 4 kills of her own. So far, 12 kills for the Wolves compared to Centennial's 13. So it just simply put it a back and forth matchup. The Wolves, though, middle blockers doing.
Okay, so Centennial scored a point. All we need to do is just tick off a point here because they scored their second point on that kill. It's not like high school where you have to make a circle or annotate every single serve. It's just like club. You're essentially just watching volleyball and ticking off the score when the serving team scores a point.
Golden Hawks currently up 2-0 here in set number 2. Centennial already leads this one 1-0. Johns wants to go long, right up the middle of the righties.
Okay, so SRV sides out. You're going to write the exit score when 1 was done serving, and it's at 2. And we tick off a point for SRV for earning the side out, and then we verify that number 7 is going back to be the next server. Now, I already know, since I know the lineup, but 7 is going to be subbed out for another player. So when they do that, 3 is going to come in for 7. So we're going to write 3 as their jersey number right here. And then we're going to write the score at the time of the sub. And you're going to write the score of the team who's subbing first. So the score is 1-2. So it's a 1 here and a 2 goes here. And then you're going to tick off this substitution. This is your running total, the number of subs that have been taken, and this is very important. Okay, So we're going to close this up and watch what happens.
Sizzle by Sophia Bella.
Okay, so 3's coming in now for number 7. We already knew it was going to happen. So now 3 goes back to serve. Let me make sure that it's the correct server. 3 is the next server, so we're going to put a little tick mark here. And then she served in the right spot.
Service ace as well. Rose hits it over. A free ball for the Wolves on the back row. Far side tipped away. They fill in the donut.
Okay, SRB got a kill, so we're just going to mark off 2.
Saw on your screen, right? 3 up, 3 back was the defensive line for Centennial. Great job for Shertock. Finds a hole of the donut, fills it in. Maybe adds a little bit of jelly, secures a point. 2-all here in set number 2. Rose trying to do some damage. It's popped up high from the mid-block of Rachel Richardson. Still in play. Tipped once more by Jordan Kennedy. Dig there off of the net. It goes, and it's still in play. The Wolves say it was 4 hits. It was touched anyways. The Wolves will get the point.
Okay, so scored the 3rd point. We're just going to tick off a point here, and then we're watching more volleyball.
Their side was saying it was 2 hits coming off the chest into the arm, but the Wolves won't really argue. They'll take the point rather than that. Even again on the service line, handled well by Morgan George. Resets the Wolves line. They want to feed Shertock, and why not? Never fear, because Lucy Shertock.
Okay, so it's another point. So we're just going to tick off 4.
3 kills tonight on 8 swings with a hitting clip of 143. Looking sharp up there in kills on the Wolves roster. And it's going to be a foot violation. It's going to be drawn by Morgan George.
Okay, so another point there.
Centennial, an early one. Wolves are up 5-2. We'll be back.
All right, Centennial's going to take a timeout, and that helps us out because then we can show you how to annotate a timeout. Okay, so Centennial takes a timeout, and the timeouts are going to be listed here in these boxes. And you're going to write the score of the team who calls timeout first in this box. So the score at the time, it's 2 called the timeout and 5 of the other team, and so you're going to write down 2, 5. And then you're going to gesture or signal to the down ref or the up ref, depending if they're looking at you, of how many timeouts each team has taken. So Centennial's taken 1, and San Ramon Valley has taken none. So you're just going to hold up 1 finger on your right hand and a 0 on your left. And then we're back to watching volleyball.
Are you an enthusiastic?
Back set number 2, 5-2 in favor of San Ramon Valley. 1-0 as Centennial claims set number 1 by final of 25-22. And we said it for the start of set 2, right? It's just more, you eliminate those service errors. The Wolves could have easily won set number 1. It was more so Centennial was more on the attacking errors. They limited those, playing very clean defensive volleyball, and that's always been the key for Centennial, especially for tonight. You win the passing game, things are going to do you justice. Speaking of justice, I think Rachel Richardson has some spring in her shoes. Lifts up well high to the sky with the monster block.
Okay, so they scored another point, so we're going to put a little 6.
Service by Diekman. Results from the setup by George. They go to Rose. One arm dig, this time from Sherchuk. A free ball for the Golden Hawks, and lifted it up in play was Ratliff, or check that rather, Bella. Gives another go this time for the Wolves. Back row attack. Clean effort on the back row by Alcorn. Just the tad long.
Okay, so they hit the ball long again, so it's another point for SRV. We're going to tick off number 7.
looking for that spark of life, and they certainly got it here in set number 2. Diekman once more, dug out by Rose, overpass goes over the antenna and out of play. Another
So we're
point
going to
goes
tick off
to
8.
San Mauro Valley. SRV looking sharp. A 6-hour drive just to get here to Orange, California. Certainly not playing like it at all as the
Okay, so
block
another
party
point, so 9.
continues. Bella looking sharp. You could say the same thing too. You saw the athleticism play there from Thompson. Once more, Diekman getting comfortable on the service line. On the back hit from the lefty, Alcorn. Senior making her presence. Tipped right there, a pancake dig. Once more from Isla Rose.
10.
But the back row couldn't handle it, and it results in another timeout for the Golden Hawks. It's been all
Okay, so
Wolves and
Centeno takes another timeout.
10-2.
So the score at the time, it's 2 to 10. So we're going to write that here. 2 10. Okay, so Centennial has now taken both of the timeouts, so you would gesture to the down ref or the up ref to 0. That means Centennial has taken both timeouts, and the down ref would go over and talk to the coach and tell the coach specifically, hey, that was your second timeout.
Not already, I'm sure you are since you're subscribed, but also let your family and friends about it. After this game is over, you can go.
Okay, so Centennial sides out. You're going to write the exit score, the score when number 3 is done serving, and that's 10. We're going to tick off a point, and then we're going to make sure that 11 is the next server going back to serve.
Go ahead and watch this matchup.
Okay, so now the Libero is going to go back to serve for number 11. So we're going to show you what you do in that situation. So the Libero is going back to serve. We're going to draw a triangle around the Roman numeral 3 because that's the position. You don't write it around the jersey number. You put it around the court position that the Libero is serving. So we're going to put a little triangle around Roman numeral 3. Now, if Centennial scores a point when the Libero is serving, you're going to draw a triangle around the numbers in the stack. Let's take a look and see what happens.
10-3. Took a little bit longer than Centennial had expected, rather, in set number 2 after winning set number 1. Down by 7. This has been the largest lead, no doubt, by the Wolves. A through unanswered points. Almost got another one. Set up by Stern. Once more, they go to Shertok. A quick.
Okay, so I ticked off, I verified that it was the correct server. The Libero served in the correct spot. And you're going to write the exit score, so that's 3. You're going to tick off a point, and then you're going to verify that number 5 is going back to serve. Now we're going to see the Libero come in and serve for number 5. So the Libero goes back to serve. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to draw a triangle around the Roman numeral position. That just means that the Libero is serving in this spot. The Libero can only serve in one spot, so we have to make sure that we are very clear so that the Libero is not serving in 2 different spots. And this is how we keep track. We just make sure we draw a triangle. Now, if San Ramon Valley scores a point when the Libero serves, you draw a triangle around the stack.
Cook a chance to come back in again. Kind of stumbled a little bit. Took a little bit longer than you'd like to get off the floor in her last appearance. Took a little breather, got some water in her. She's ready to rock and roll. Point goes to.
Okay, so the ref called a double on that third contact. Point SRV. So we're going to draw a triangle around the 12th point because that point was scored when the Libero was serving.
Another double hit violation called against Centennial. And again, if you're the Golden Hawks, message to your team: stick to the fundamentals. That's it. You know you could beat the Wolves. You already done so in set 1. Stick to the fundamentals of play. Communication is key. But how about that? A service ace.
Okay, so another ace. So we draw a triangle around 13.
Up on the service line. Cooking some service aces rather left and right. Wolves are up by 10. SRV making a statement. Division 2 state championship. Once more, monster spike. Lucy Shurtok. Say it loud, say it proud.
Another point. So we draw a triangle around 14.
Number 1. And if you're Centennial, you know there's no way that you can stop her, but more so, what can you do to slow her down? And that is something that Centennial's looking for. A key block would be huge. Cook again with the service on the back row, handled by Alcorn. They give it a Rose, turned away from the Wolves. They want to feed Rose once more, dug out by Diekman. Cook over to Shurtok, seals the deal. Shurtok.
Okay, so they scored another point. Draw a triangle around 15.
Again, the 6'1" senior making a name for herself tonight. The highlight reel herself as Hope Diekman asked for a new volleyball to Allie Cook. She will receive a new one. Ashley Peterson, the head judge, gives the signal. Steve Green, the low judge. Back row attack. Up by Diekman. What about that one? Jenna Hunt.
So another point scored when the Libero serving. Draw a triangle around 16.
All on the line tonight. Centennial in the group, just saying to breathe. Let's take things point by point. And this has been all San Ramon Valley. This one hasn't been close. Cook right through.
So she missed her serve. So the score is 16 when she was done serving. So we write an exit score here, 16. We took off a point number 4, and then we verify that number 8 is going to be the next server, and we're ready to make sure and that we prove that we checked it with a little tick mark there.
Through the tail of the tape.
Okay, so Centennial is subbing, and they're bringing in number 3, comes in for 9. So we're going to write that on the score sheet. 3 came in for 9. So 3 goes in here. We write their score first. It's 4-16, so we write that 4-16. And we tick off the sub. And we verify that 8 is back to serve.
Alcorn will check out. A couple of subs. Isla Rose still in the front line. Alex Marshall, the freshman, checking in again. And a back set, mishandled, but still hitting it over is Vela. They go far side, hit by Marshall. Getting the tip, Rose trying to keep it in play. But net violation will be called going against the Wolves.
Okay, so it was a net violation, so you just tick off 5.
5-16 service. Morgan George. Yes, right.
Ace
on
for
the
Centennial,
corner.
tick off 6.
Take that service, ace. Centennial trying to creep back up in this one. Down by 10. Back row, handled cleanly by Diekman. Once more develop. Control left corner, Rose with a hard touch in the back row. Still alive for the Wolves. Once more they go to Shurtok, and why not?
Okay, so that was a side out for SRV. So the score is 6 when she's done serving. We took off a point for the side out, and then we verified that number 12 is going back to serve, which she is, so we put a little tick mark.
The coaching staff going crazy for Lucy Shurtok. The highlight reel herself, putting it all on the line here in set 2. A big swing, 2 up, 4 back for Centennial. Sets up the set by Morgan George. Up the middle, Alex Marshall wants some kill.
Okay, so she's done serving. 17. We tick off 7, and then we verify that 14 is going back to serve. Now both sides are going to do some subbing. It looks like 2's coming in for 1, and 14's going back to serve. Okay, so 14's going back to serve. We can verify this, and 2's coming in for 1. So we put a little 2 right here. Their score is 7. SRV has 17. So we write that 7, 17, and then we tick off a sub. Now I don't know if the camera shows it, but we bring in number 2 for number 12. So we write a 2 here. We write the score 17 to 7. And then we tick off another sub.
Addison Carter will check in. Will be replacing Kate Johns. Kate Ross will check in. She'll be replacing Sophia Vela for the Wolves. There's an opportunity for Isla Rose on the service line. Rose handled cleanly by Diekman. Here the antenna hits it over Shirtaka. Free ball for the Golden Hawks. Out of the outreached right arm of the middle blocker. As, just like that, the Wolves will make them play on that.
Okay, so they're side out. So it's 7. We tick off 18. And then we verify that 4 is going back to serve. And then there's a sub also going on at the same time. 7 is coming back in for 3. Okay, so we write 7 here. And the score is 18 to 7. And then we tick off a sub. We can verify that this is the 3rd sub, so we go 1, 2, 3. And there are 1, 2, 3 subs taken. And Centennial's taken 2 subs, 1, 2. And then you just make sure that your running total is correct. Okay. Continuing on.
It was a front set, and it was a little bit too high. As it was Brooke Toll that got a little bit of an early jump on the setup there. Couldn't come in fruition, and it worked back to Sheratok once more. 18-7 service. Clean dink on the back row by Sheratok, but even a cleaner kill on the right side attack.
Okay, so she's done serving. So it's 18. Tick off here. Verify that 4 is the next server.
No doubt about it. Set number 2 has been all Santa Ramon Valley.
Not sure.
In set 2. There's an offer. Couldn't come in fruition, and it worked back to
All right, we just had to go back a little bit further.
18-7 service. Clean dink on the back row by Sheratok, but even a cleaner kill on the right side attack. Hawks, you love the effort trying to come back. No doubt about it. Set number 2 has been all Santa Ramon Valley. Centennial trying to make a statement, trying to come back. Up the middle they go. First block tonight. That comes in clutch. Jordan Kennedy. First
Centennial
block
point.
for the Golden Hawks.
You just tick off the 9.
Really, that's what Centennial needed. They needed a crucial block. Again, at this point, you know, you're not really focusing on the score. Yes, you have one set. Focus on each side out.
Okay, so it's a side out SRV. So we write a 9 here for the exit score. We tick off 19. And then we verify that 10 is going back to serve. Now, there's a sub happening. So 11 is coming in for 10. So we're going to write 11, and the score at the time is 19-9. And then we're going to tick off one of our subs in the running total. Oops.
On the right, 19-9 service. This time it's Catherine Wolf-Smith side out.
Okay, so here's the sub. 11 came in for 10.
Focus on to come back, but not if the Wolves have anything to say about it. As Catherine Wolf-Smith, she will re-enter the game. Sets up a 19-9 service, this time for Barrett Brown. Gets the friendly bounce over the tape. Overpass by Rose, smacked on the right corner by Stern. Still in play, Rose from the back side of the field. And it works this time, left corner shot, you bet. Ellie Hunt gets it
Point
done.
SRV. We'll tick off the 20.
A little bit of a cross-court kill. As Steve Green wants to make sure that San Ramon Valley, all their student athletes are well out of play. Not afraid to show off their dance moves, rather trying to keep that energy alive. Right up the middle they go. Who else? Jordy.
Okay, so that was a side out. SRV's exit score is a 20. Oh, we want to make sure that 11 was the right server, so 20. And then we point here, and then the next server should be 3. But I believe they have a sub. So let's talk about the 2 subs that are happening. The one that I know of, 10 comes back in for 11. So we're going to write here for SRV 10. And the score at the time is 20-10. And we mark off 1 sub. And then I believe 9 comes back in for 3.
Up another kill.
Yeah, 9 came in for 3 for Centennial. So right here, 9. And the score at the time is 10-20. And then we tick off a sub.
Marshall will check out and allow an opportunity for the senior Natalie Alcorn to be on the service line. 3-hour drive for Centennial. A pancake dig goes for...
Side out SRV, so you write the score. Her score when they're done serving, and then we tick off 21, and we verify that 14 is the next server, and then 12 is coming back in for 2, so we're going to write 12 here. Their score at the time of the sub is 21-10. And then we're going to tick off the 6th sub.
For Catherine Wolf-Smith, and it results in another point for the Wolves. Kate Ross will check out. Sophia Vela will check right back in. Here comes Kate Stern, 6-foot senior. Letty Setter, I like the location, just misses wide. 3 points.
Okay, so she missed her serve. So 21, tick off 11, and verify that 2 is the next server, but they're subbing back in. So 1 comes back in, and the score at the time is 11-21. 11-21. Tick off the 4th sub, and then we verify that 1 is going back to serve. We'll put a little tick mark showing that we have verified it's the correct server.
Centennial still down by 10. So far, 3 touchdowns for the Wolves, 21-11. Rather, 11-21 service once more for the Golden Hawks. Can they lead this one already 1-0? Back row up by Cook. Once more, they want to give it to Ellie Hunt. Why not?
So the side out. 11 is the exit score. We tick off a point. We verify that 7 is the next server, but there's going to be a sub, so 3 comes in, 3 for 7, and the score at the time is 22-11. And then we tick off the 7th sub.
Talk about that dynamic duo for a moment, right? Lucy Shertock and Ellie Hunt certainly been proving their worth on their roster. As Hunt will check out after the monster kill, re-entering will be Hope Deepman. 5'7" junior, I mean, we already said it once already, right? Deepman having 29 service aces, looking for more, but not if Jordan Kennedy.
Okay, so it's side out. And we verified that 3 was the next server. So their score is 22 is the exit score. And we took off 12. And then we make sure that 11 is the next server, but it's probably going to be the Libero, so we can put a little tick mark there.
Has anything to say about it?
So the Libero is going back to serve, so we know where she's in the right spot, and she's serving in the right spot in the rotation.
Tell a different story, yes, certainly indeed. It's been all Wolves here in set number 2. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Centennial not giving down without a fight. And if you were just watching set number 2, completely different San Ramon Valley team. There is no doubt in my mind. But what a dig from Cook, unable to go to the scores table in time, was Bella.
Okay, so the Libero scored a point, so we put a triangle around 13.
In set 2, being back Wolf Smith. Time gets the signal from her health coach, floats it over, but long.
Okay, so she missed her serve, so we write the exit score at the time of the miss, 13. And we tick off 23. We verify that it's the Libero serving in the next spot for number 5, which she is in the right spot.
6'3" sophomore will take a quick break. 23-13 service for the Wolves. They go near side on the floor, hitting it over just in time. Results in a free ball, a little bit of an overpass, but it doesn't matter. I don't know what.
Okay, so SRV scored the point when the Libero was serving. So we're going to put a little triangle around 24. And at this point you would tell the down ref that it is set point. So you would just hold one finger to your left shoulder. And just lets the referee know that if SRV gets the next point, then they have to do the end of set procedure.
Jenna Hunt. That definitely had some velo onto that one. Here we go. Set 2, a set point for the Wolves, trying to tie it at 1 apiece here. Line drive shot, that's the twine. Service error from.
So she misses her serve. So the exit score when she's done serving is 24. And we tick off 14. And then we verify that 8 is the next server to go back to serve. And then Centennial is also subbing back in, and it's number 3 coming in for 9. So we write a 3 here, 3 for 9, and it's 14-24 is the score. 14, 24, we tick off the sub, and then we make sure that 8 is back to serve next for Centennial.
2, Centennial looking for a little bit of a miracle here to come back in this one in set 2. Line drive shot, dug out, but not enough to get there. Service.
Okay, so they scored the point, so we just tick off number 15.
For Morgan George. Her last game in the Centennial Golden Hawk uniform. Wants to make this one as memorable as she possibly can, but Jenna Hunt.
Okay, so it was a point for SRV. You're going to write 15 in the exit score, and then you put in 25 here. Alright, then you're going to switch to pen, and And you're going to write down 25 here in the exit score because you can't end on 24. It has to end on 25. So 25 goes here. And because nobody served, you don't tick off the little tick mark here. And you would circle 25 because that's the last set point, or that's the point at the end of the set. And 15 gets circled here. Okay, now the next thing you need to do is you need to put a T-bar through all unused points. So you're going to draw a line across here, and you're going to draw a vertical line straight down all through these unused points. And it's called a T-bar because there's a vertical line on top and then a horizontal line coming down. You're going to do the same thing with all unused points. So we put a line underneath 15. We draw a line all the way down. And draw a T-bar all the way down. Okay, you're going to write the time at the end of the set here in the end. And we're just going to make it up. Let's say it took 25 minutes. So you're going to write 13:35. Okay, so that is a completed set for one. That's the completed score sheet for one set. Now you're going to write the results here, who won and who lost. This can be done at the end, but it's a lot easier if the person who was scoring at the time writes all this down. So winning was SRV and losing was Centennial. And the score was 25-15. So we're going to write that here. 25-15. Okay, so let's imagine that we got through the entire, so this second set was all filled out and done, and so we're going to show you the complete end of the match procedure. So the second set, it was SRV and CHS lost, and it was 25-23. So let's pretend that's the end of the match. Now you're going to need to write down the match winner here. Now you notice it's going to ask you who is the A team and the B team. So you're going to write down A in this team in a circle because SRV is the A team and Centennial is the B team. And you're going to write down SRV, and the number of sets was 2-0. And then you would ask for who the up ref is, and let's say it's Smith Chain. And then you would fill out if you're scoring the second set. So let's say I'm doing it. And then you would sign it in the score spot. And then you would hand this off, and that's pretty much, you're done. So that's it. It's pretty simple. It's a lot to take in, but if you start getting yourself into a system where you do the same thing every single time back and forth, then you won't get lost if there's ever a problem. This is just going to give you an idea of how the actual mechanics behind it. You're just going to have to practice this and talk to your coach, and hopefully the coach will give you some more pointers on how to do scorekeeping. It's an easy job. It keeps you engaged, and it's definitely something that we need to do very well because this is most important, because anytime there's any kind of discrepancy, they're always going to come back and they're going to look at the score sheet, and we want to make sure that the score sheet is as accurate as possible. Okay, that should be it. Hopefully it wasn't too long and too boring, and if you have any questions, just reach out and let me know. Thank you so much.